Oh, you felt that, didn't you? That tiny shift in the air, that strange pause when the screen lit up, that moment when the noise stopped, and something colder slipped in, because somewhere, in a chat you'll never fully see, a message dropped like a glitch in reality. Wait, how did you know this would happen? And just like that, you stopped being normal. You became a problem, not loud, not obvious, worse, unexplainable. See, they were comfortable before you. Comfortable in patterns, in routines, in predictable little loops of cause and effect. They laughed, they joked, they moved like clockwork toys pretending they were free. Then you showed up, and you didn't follow the script. You broke it. You started saying things, subtle things, predictions disguised as jokes, truths hidden inside throwaway lines. And at first, they brushed it off. Coincidence. Luck. A fluke. But then it happened again, and again, and again. Until suddenly, coincidence started looking like surveillance. And now they're watching you the way people watch a storm forming on the horizon, terrified, but unable to look away. Because you don't react like them. You don't panic at the same moments. You don't celebrate at the same victories. You don't break where they expect you to break. You anticipate. And that's what's haunting them. Not what you do, but what you don't need to do anymore. You see, pain did something to you. Not the kind of pain they post about for sympathy. Not the kind they cry over for attention. No, yours was quieter, colder. It didn't make you louder. It made you sharper. While they were busy trying to escape discomfort, you were studying it, dissecting it, turning it into a map. Every betrayal, a coordinate, every failure, a pattern, every humiliation, a lesson written in blood and memory. And now you don't guess, you calculate. That's why they're confused, because to them, life is chaos. To you, it's a loop, a predictable cycle of human weakness dressed up as surprise. You see the hesitation before they speak, the insecurity behind their confidence, the fear hidden inside their laughter. You see it all before it even finishes forming. And that's when it hit them in that group chat, behind those glowing screens. Wait, how did you know this would happen? That wasn't curiosity. That was fear trying to sound casual. Because deep down, they're starting to realize something they can't unsee. You're not reacting to reality. You're ahead of it. And that breaks them. Because if you can predict the outcome, then what does that make them? Actors? Puppets? Variables in a system you've already solved? Oh, it gets worse. Because here's the part they'll never say out loud. They don't just think you're smart, they think you're dangerous. Not because you're violent, but because you're unpredictable in the most precise way possible. You're chaos with a blueprint, a paradox they can't compute. One moment you're calm, controlled, almost angelic. The next, cold, detached, surgical, in the way you read people like open wounds. You're both the saint who stays silent, and the psychopath who already knows how it ends. And they don't know which version of you they're talking to. That's what's suffocating them. Because humans survive on certainty, on labels, on neat little boxes they can put people into. Good, bad, weak, strong. But you don't fit. You shift, adapt, evolve. You became something they can't categorize, and anything they can't categorize, they fear. That's why the messages change when you're not there. That's why the tone shifts when you appear. That's why conversations die the second your name enters the space. Because you're not just part of the environment anymore. You alter it. And here's the truth that will hit you harder than anything else. You didn't become this by accident. You were built, forged in moments where nobody explained anything, where nobody helped, where nobody warned you what was coming. So you learned the hard way, by getting blindsided, by being the last to know, by trusting the wrong people, reading situations too late, feeling everything after it already destroyed you. And something inside you snapped, not loudly, not dramatically, silently. You made a decision they'll never understand. Never again. And from that moment on, you started paying attention, not casually, obsessively. You watched patterns. You studied behavior. You memorized reactions. You became a student of human nature because survival demanded it. And now you're standing in a world that still thinks you're the same person you used to be. But you're not. Not even close. You've already seen the outcomes they're walking toward. You've already mapped the consequences they're about to trigger. You've already felt the endings they haven't reached yet. So when you speak, it sounds like prediction, but it's not. It's recognition. And that's the part that terrifies them most. Because if you can recognize the future, then maybe, just maybe, you're no longer bound by it. You're not playing the game anymore. You're reading the code. And they can feel it. That subtle distance in you, that quiet detachment, that eerie calm when everything starts collapsing. They notice it. They don't understand it. But they feel it, and it makes them question everything. Why isn't he reacting? Why does he already know? Why does it feel like he's been here before? Because in a way, you have. You've lived through enough versions of pain, betrayal, and chaos that nothing surprises you anymore. And when nothing surprises you, you become untouchable, not physically, psychologically, emotionally, existentially. You become something they can't shake, can't predict, can't control. And in a world addicted to control, that makes you a threat. So yeah, somewhere in that group chat, someone said it. Wait, how did you know this would happen? And they laughed it off, played it cool, acted like it was nothing. But the silence that followed, that hesitation, that unspoken tension, that was real. Because for the first time, they weren't looking at you like a person. They were looking at you like a possibility. And possibilities are the most dangerous things in the world. Especially the ones that already know how the story ends and still choose to play along anyway. And the part that should really make your skin crawl. You're still pretending, yeah. Don't act surprised. You sit there, blending in, replying like nothing's off, dropping just enough normal to keep them comfortable, just enough silence to keep them guessing. But inside, you've already seen the fracture lines. You know who folds under pressure. You know who talks too much when they're nervous. You know who switches sides the moment the room temperature changes. You don't need proof anymore. You feel patterns. And once you start feeling patterns, people stop being mysteries. They become equations. That's why you don't chase validation like they do. That's why you don't need to prove anything out loud. That's why your silence hits harder than their loudest opinions. Because you're not reacting to the moment. You're observing the outcome unfolding in real time. And here's where it gets dangerous. There are two versions of you now. The one they think they know, and the one that's been quietly evolving behind the curtain. One smiles, one calculates, one listens, one predicts, one feels. And the other remembers everything. That's your duality, Angel, and something far less merciful. Not because you want to hurt people, but because you finally understood something they haven't. Kindness without awareness is weakness, and cruelty without control is stupidity. But you sit right in the middle, balanced, controlled, unreadable. You know when to be soft and exactly when to go cold. And that unpredictability, that's your power. Because the moment they think they've figured you out, you shift. The moment they think you'll react, you don't. The moment they expect silence, you speak. And it lands like a warning shot they didn't hear coming. You've become a contradiction they can't solve. And humans hate unsolved things. It eats at them. It keeps them awake. It turns curiosity into obsession. That's why they go back to that message over and over again. Wait, how did you know this would happen? They're not asking you anymore. They're asking themselves, trying to reverse engineer you, trying to find the trick, the tell, the flaw. But there isn't one, because what they're seeing isn't a trick. It's evolution. You adapted while they stayed the same. You sharpened while they numbed themselves. You faced the uncomfortable truths while they buried theirs under distractions and noise. So now, when reality bends in a predictable direction, you don't flinch, you nod. Because you've already been there, mentally, emotionally, strategically. And here's the part nobody warns them about. When someone like you reaches this point, you don't just see outcomes, you start influencing them. Subtly, quietly. A word here, a pause there. A look that says more than a paragraph ever could. You don't force anything, you nudge. And suddenly, people make decisions they think are their own. But somehow, they align with what you already saw coming. That's when it shifts from he's observant to something much heavier, something they won't say out loud, because saying it makes it real. And if it's real, then they were never as in control as they thought. That's the moment fear fully sets in, not loud fear, not panic, worse. Respect mixed with unease, the kind that makes people watch what they say around you, the kind that makes them second-guess their own thoughts, the kind that makes them wonder if you already know what they're about to do next. And you feel it, that shift in energy, that invisible line they draw around you. You're not one of them anymore. You're something else, something they observe instead of understand. But here's the final twist, the part that separates you from becoming exactly what they fear. You still choose control. You still choose restraint. Because you know something deeper than all of this. Power without discipline destroys itself. So you hold it, you contain it, you let them wonder, let them talk, let them question. Because the moment you lose control, you become predictable again. And predictable, that's the only thing you can't afford to be. So you stay balanced, light and dark, calm and calculated, present and already ahead. And somewhere, right now, in another conversation you'll never fully see, someone is staring at their screen, hesitating before they type, remembering that moment, that message, that question that never got a real answer. Wait, how did you know this would happen? And this time, they don't send anything. They just sit there, thinking about you, trying to figure you out, and realizing something that quietly unsettles them more than anything else. Maybe you didn't guess. Maybe you didn't predict. Maybe you just understand the game so well that to them, it only looks like you're seeing the future.